Hi.
What did you miss?
Kashka's face is frozen. Last I knew,
And my back.
That's just fine for me.
I knew you were casting the spell, but that's all I know.
Yeah.
Okay, and the bonus action is a spear mastery. To recap, it's this big wall of text. It's the third paragraph.
Okay. So I know. So Tinder. First of all, Tinder failed her wisdom save against the spirit guardians, right?
Get wrecked. Yeah.
Get wrecked. So you want to do that damage?
I do. How much is it? 3d8.
Oh, nice.
Terrible.
Okay. And then let me read this.
And I'm two-handing that, but
Creature moves within your spear each on its next turn. You can make. Oh, nice. Okay. So wait, hang on. What happens if the creature starts within 20 feet? Is it the same thing?
So it says here at the end of it, if the creature used the disengage action before moving, it doesn't do anything. But if Tinder's not going to specifically disengage from me, then in order to retain an attack or whatever, she's going to take that 1d10.
Okay. All right, cool. Bonus action, you can increase your reach. Okay, got it. Very good. Okay, Kellisto.
I'm going to move up between the dragon and Ulfgar. Then I'm going to try my poison spray.
Okay.
Or not.
Oh, where's hand? So I think that it has to do a Constitution saving throw.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Unfortunately, she has. Oh, she rolled a natural one. She failed completely. Wow. Okay, so then do 1d12 poison damage to her. Or is that what the 11 is? That's what the 11 is. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what the 11 is.
Nice. All right. So she takes a cloud of noxious gas to the face.
Did you just fart on a red dragon?
Yep.
That's one way to put it.
It's all those you know, she's vegetarian, so it's all those beans and
I was thinking it was all the bats, but I mean, you're eating a lot of bats. Okay, anything else you would like to do with your bonus action?
Nope.
Okay. Valia.
Okay, I guess you said I gotta spend half action to get up.
Yeah, half your movement. Yeah.
But okay, well I'm not moving anywhere, so that's fine. And then I will beat the crap out of her, or I'll bite the crap.
Okay.
First bite.
Yep. The second one does not.
And unarmed strike.
That hits.
And there's the damage for it.
Okay. Very good. Right. She is looking. Let me just. Yeah, she's looking like she's seen better days. This is not what she had in mind when she woke up this morning. She's looking injured. So definitely progressing. Arokh.
Okay, Arokh is going to use his brave weapon with acid damage.
Okay.
And hang on, because it says you're not. It's 1d6 per summoner level. And unfortunately, on my sheet isn't updated. Hang on. Tobias is on level 6. That'll be 6 times 1d6. Okay.
So does she get a dex save to dodge out?
Dex save is for half of damage. Hang on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Dex save. Also half damage.
So half damage.
Damn it.
I know, right? I feel like that natural one earlier is now being.
Sorry, I had to do this manually. Why can I? What is this? Slash roll?
Yeah, or /R and then whatever number D6.
I
think-
no.
One thing, 66. No.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, there we go. Wow.
8. 8 points of acid damage.
Okay. All right. Yeah, the acid seems to kind of like roll off her scales to some extent, but you can see where it
Armor
trickles.
reduction.
And yeah, and lets out this sizzling. Okay, so here's the bad news. It's her turn.
Resolve Guardians.
Okay, so she, as you might expect, takes a big gulping breath in, and then.
Not yet, she doesn't. She has to resolve Guardian.
At
At the start of their turn.
wants to do the fire breath.
Like, why can't you all just die?
It's a very slow intake of breath.
What can I do? So hang on. So she needs to do another save. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Start of
Okay.
their turn.
All right.
Woof.
That's a good save.
Does critical fail a thing in 5e?
It's not, no, unless you make it
Okay,
a
that's-
house. We have not.
I just didn't know whether I was doubling or not.
What?
I know. I kind of, maybe. It needs... Oh, okay.
She's getting lucky.
Yeah, she's young. She's not very wise.
She's not. Okay.
If she will, she would accept the offer.
She's probably rethinking that proposal.
Right now she takes a big gulping breath in, and she gets a 30-foot cone. And I'm afraid Kellisto and Ulfgar are just so nice and neatly lined up there that that she's going to use her fire breath on the two of you.
Ulfgar, you're dead.
Nice
Yeah,
knowing you all.
So, can you make a dexterity saving throw?
Who is she using it on?
You
Yourself
and
and Kellisto. You're in such a nice little line there.
Callisto, you still have inspiration.
I do. I would like to use that. How do I use that again?
You roll 1d8 and you can add it to your dexterity save.
Okay.
That was enough.
You didn't give me enough inspiration.
How much
Okay,
inspiration do you want?
Actually, that was just enough inspiration.
That's all the inspiration you never need.
Hold on to your hats, folks, because this is a lot of fun.
Because she still gets to claw twice. Boo!
Do we get
They got the capes.
Ooh.
So you take half of that for making the save.
Oh, and the capes
And
don't
what
do
do the
anything.
capes do for that?
Oh, that's a good point. You both got capes on. Damn it all.
I got the capes.
Then take a quarter because I'm going to count them as cover. So a quarter of 57.
So 57 divided by 4 is 14.25.
So 14 points of damage.
Okay. Whew. I got lucky.
That's a lot less deadly than 57.
Yep. I'm glad I don't have
Thank you for the reminder on the capes.
vulnerability to that. That would be
The rest of you watches this. She kind of just turns her head, like she doesn't even like turn her whole body. She just turns her head over her shoulder, and like lets out this bellow of fire that kind of shoots down her back and right across Kellisto and Ulfgar. And you take some of the scorching damage, but it just kind of like the capes are just like this heat shield against it, and the flames just kind of like bounce around it almost.
It helps that we're smaller people.
I'm just like, are you okay? That looks like it hurt.
And then she comes back, and she still does get to make 2 claw attacks, as Valia mentioned, and see who's been doing the most damage. She's gonna do her right arm reaches out and claws at Valia.
I'm hurting her with everybody.
The left goes for Aelia.
Yeah, that one hits me.
That definitely.
And
but I'm still good.
I think hang on. One sec. There's one more thing that happens as well. Then behind you, Tobias, the ground glows again, and just as it did before, it's this massive kind of bubble that just bursts, and then magma erupts around the area. And could you make a hang on, each 5-foot radius. So for yourself and Arokh, make a dexterity saving throw to kind of dodge out of the way of this magma eruption.
Can I cover myself with the cape?
You can, and it will reduce the damage.
Okay. That's for Arokh and that's Tobias. Yeah. I'm going to cover myself, but Arokh doesn't have that advantage.
So Arokh takes 15 points of damage, and Tobias takes well, if we're saying the capes give a quarter cover, what is that? I'm terrible. Then you take 11, Tobias. Okay, and now she's done. And she's done. Okay. Ulfgar.
Before you go, Ulfgar. Ulfgar's not even there.
Oh.
Good GM question time. Where the magma has exploded, does that make the tile
It's going to linger for. Let's see. Does it give any? It does not give any direction about how long that lingers for. So I will say that it's going to linger for one more turn. So like this one, actually, has gone. So I can zoom in on that one and get rid of it. Wait, that one's gone. The one behind you is still there for another turn.
Okay. It's your turn, Ulfgar.
Okay. So he's going to move up. He's going to cast big ol' Foos Roda down here.
Okay.
At 3rd level. So hold on, let me bring up his character sheet and do that proper.
That's going to cause a heck of a shower of coins.
Well, it's kind of why it was. He's actually kind of aiming more up in the air so he doesn't just like destroy the ground and stuff.
I don't know, you might turn it into bullet storm.
So there's it's not a
around the room.
so it's not a to hit. Level 3. It is a DC 15 Constitution save.
Constitution saves. She loves those.
I bet she does. Sure does. So she takes half damage and is not pushed.
Okay.
And
So-
then what?
Wait, so hang on, it's 25 damage or?
Oh, sorry, higher level cast. Yeah, you're right. So it's half of the total of 25, so
Got it.
12. 12 thunder, and then he uses a bonus action. Seeing a lot of people injured. Who was the most injured?
Valia.
Valia?
I'm good. I'm at 52 right now.
What?
Yeah, she's a barbarian.
I have 76 HP. I'm good.
Welcome to Barbars.
Yep.
Where the barbars at?
Do you ever see the crap guide to barbarians? I'm just
All right,
Right,
so
well, you would definitely see that Aelia is injured.
okay, then he would cast Healing Word on Aelia at level 2. All right, so Healing Word. Ignore the to hit. Just do this. Level 2. Submit. Roll. 8 plus 2. 10 points of health.
Much appreciated.
And that is it for Master Ulfgar's turn.
Okay. Tobias.
Okay, I'm going to use the chatter.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Oh boy. You're gonna give chatter to the
That
Red
is-
Dragon? Tribute.
Okay.
That thing is mean.
Can I
Is
use
that the
as
name of your
bonus-
sword?
Yeah, because he's constantly talking. I think the
Says-
name is more than appropriate.
Somehow, I think you foolish adventurers might win this fight.
Oh, thanks to chatter.
Can I use Wand of Web as a bonus action?
You. Oh, I don't know. Is using a wand
It's
an
the-
action or?
It's this. I think it's an action because I think the spell is also an action anyway.
Let me look.
Nope.
Yeah, you can use an action to
Action.
expend one of its charges.
It would only be
Okay.
okay if the wand was a cantrip.
Okay. Dagger then. Nope.
You hear the voice. That stupid piece of metal. Throw it aside. Embrace your destiny. Okay, Aelia.
Aelia is going to be crafty and mean and horrible. She's gonna go over here, going around the magma dot. And she is going to use her divinity charge to cast. I am delaying so I can find. I have too many things in this list. This.
Okay.
Casting on the dragon.
One creature, curse it to the end of your next turn. Next time you aren't on my hits. Oh, nice.
So
Oh.
everyone's doing double damage until the start of my next turn.
What?
Oh.
Here's my question though. So you are leaving the threat range of the dragon.
Oh, right. Okay. She's not going to move then, but she's still going to do path.
Okay.
I will move the aura back.
Thank you.
All right. So
You still have your flight of Valkyries, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's a channel divinity and not a spell.
okay.
Well, I mean, it's a spell, but it's not a spell. It's magic.
Different kind of magic.
So that wait, next. Okay, so that's next time. So okay, so then Kellisto. Yeah, we'll see if this can kick in.
Double damage, double damage.
Exactly. What you up to?
Since it's double, how many turns do we get double damage?
Just this turn.
Okay.
Well,
then
until the start of my next.
then I'll change what I was gonna do. I'm gonna try just a plain old scimitar.
Oh,
I'm so sorry, Kellisto.
I've got a new
It's all
plan.
been going wrong for you this.
It really has.
We kill Aelia so it never comes around to her turn again. And we always do double damage.
Yeah, that's how that works.
For my bonus action, I'm going to do a healing word on myself.
Okay.
Wise choice.
All right, Valia.
Okay, here we go. We're gonna bite.
Double damage. Oh yeah, that hits. Oh.
Double
God.
trouble.
Oh my god. That hits as well. No.
And
You see
my
a
unarmed,
look of panic in Tinder's eyes.
assuming my mouse cooperates with me.
Oh, wow. Okay, how's that gonna work?
Oh, actually, I think it only is good for one attack.
Yeah? How so?
Because it says the next time you or an ally of yours hits the cursed creature with an attack, the creature has vulnerability to all of that attack's damage, and then the curse ends.
Oh, and then the curse ends. Okay.
So I hit it
did
for
not-
16 and then just my regular.
And then the
rolls.
7, yeah.
The 7 and 5. Okay. That's fine with me still. 16.
But that-
Yeah, that was a bit OP, wasn't it?
I'm sure there's
but
spells that
that-
do that.
You did hit with a crit there, though, for your
Yeah.
unarmed.
Oh,
So-
do I need to roll double damage for that?
A double or a 1d6 additional. Because it's only the dice are doubled for the crits.
Just roll another 1d6.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, I look at Tinder is looking panicked. She's kind of like scrambling a little. You see like blood oozing from all the various wounds that she's got, and she looks poisoned. And yeah,
Before Arokh goes, I'm going to ask her in Draconic, do you want to take Arokh's deal now? Or you die here? And then I'll take your scales.
she says, "I have another deal in mind."
Oh.
And
I
Arokh.
just nod my head, like, bring it. Stupid mask on. I forgot to sew that stupid mask on my face.
So you're like, where you want to do
Arokh.
Yeah, either way, she kinda insulted the humans that Arokhs have depth.
I would agree.
So he is going to tail slap her.
Okay.
Nope.
And misses.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
No,
Advantage
it's a
'cause-
melee. Yeah.
Oh, because you've got advantage? Because wait,
Because the
Oh, yeah.
creatures within 5 feet of me.
Yep,
And
yep,
it's
yep.
an advantage crit.
Mm-hmm. Okay, never mind. Okay.
It's a super slap.
His tail, yeah, Arokh's tail just catches her across the face and knocks, and you see like where the scales around her mouth have split, and now blood is kind of pouring from them. And she's incredibly,
And
very
that's
much injured.
28 points of damage? Will be? Because it's crit?
No. You'd have to roll the 1d8 again.
Yeah,
no
actually, it's already done
It
it.
does it. Yeah, it did it
okay.
the +4. Yeah, so it's 14.
bonus. Okay.
Okay. Got it.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Spirit
Anything else
warriors.
Arokh would like to do?
He's going for the claw.
Okay.
Nope.
So she.
Aelia's ancestors line up for a charge.
Yep. Oh, crap. Oh no.
A little creepy dragon on dragon action over here.
Okay. Another wisdom save. Oh my
Oh,
All right. So she is scrambling. She looks. She's.
Wow, my dice.
That guy.
Aelia, she actually tries to like push past you. She's heading kind of. I'm just going to describe this. Can I do it like this? So she's heading in this direction, right? So she's trying to like just push past you, and at the same time, your spirit guardians charge in. And how do you want to do this? Because
Ooh.
darn it!
Well, it's three ancestors, right? So the ancestors basically charge one after the other in almost like a rhythm. And one goes through her first, and she goes reeling back in the other direction she was headed. And then the second one hits her back in the other direction, so now she's on her back two legs. And then the third one goes through her chest, and she falls back on her pile of gold.
Yeah, and you see like the light flicker from her eyes. She's still has this like panic look and just like desperate to get to the exit. As she dies in front of you on this mound of gold.
And Aelia shouts, "Ancestors be praised!"
Are they like running around little circles, like yeah? They're
And
little
then
spheres.
they do, and then they flitter out of existence.
I'm just clapping
As
like a
they
little
celebrate.
kid at a party.
Aelia actually runs up to Lyssa and like takes Lyssa's hands and starts dancing around her like little trotties around her.
I'm all bloody and stuff. I'm just like, yay!
Ulfgar's just standing there agape, repetitively stabbing it with his rapier. Not quite sure if it's dead or not, but not willing to risk it. Just making sure the double tap right now.
Yeah, I mean, Tinder's tongue is kind of lolling out of her mouth, and her eyes have, well, not so much her eyes have rolled back, but she's got like the double eyelid thing going on, so the second eyelids have like just lost control and rolled up. So she's very much looking dead.
I'm
Callisto
just gonna
has
kind of open my bag of holding and start putting gold in it.
I was just about to say, Callisto's immediately started gathering up coins.
I was just looking at Callisto with the bag open. I'm like shaking my head, like, yes.
What's the limit of a bag of holding? Does it have one?
I think we're about to find out.
Yes, I want to search the pile for any good
Hang on,
weapons
what? I missed. I think is Dragon dead?
Yes.
Dragon
Yes.
is dead.
Yeah, I missed that part.
Oh, yeah.
The
Aelia-
dragon
Aelia's-
is very dead.
He wants the DM to confirm Dragon's dead.
Aelia's spiritual guardians acted and finished the job before she could move.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Clearly, need to step up my game. Okay. So, let's take it in turns. And what's everybody doing?
Actually, sorry, I for some reason decided to move my microphone away from my face. Ailey's gonna set about, very, very gruesome for her, but she's gonna set about skinning the dragon.
Yeah, I'm pointing. Those are gonna be good money when we go back to town. All those scales, although that don't have acid on them. You might want to get, Dwarf man over here to clean that. I'm just like scooping gold in them.
She's never dressed a dragon before, but being that she's dressed other animals, she is pretty confident.
Mm-hmm. So the hoard that you're kind of standing on and Tinder's dead body is on, is a mixture of gold pieces, platinum pieces, silver pieces, and copper pieces. There's just a massive pile of money, but you do see some little bits and pieces and buried in amongst there that are not coin.
I
cast detect magic.
Yeah, I'm just picking those out, like I'm holding them in the hand, in like one hand, like trying to scoot them aside and set them next to me in a pile.
Mm-hmm. So, when you're scooping coin into your bag of holding, are you going for a specific color of metal, or are you just scooping like whatever's in front?
I'm helping her, and I'm just scooping everything in.
Okay. You know that that it's not all going to fit.
Oh, okay.
I just tell everybody, open your bags.
I mean, at some point, so even if you didn't know it before, right? At some point, you kind of start noticing that actually you can see coin, like where before when you looked in the bag, it was pitch blackness. You can actually kind of see coin at the top now, and it's like, okay, I think we're gonna fill this thing. So
that's the idea.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, should we go get one of those mine carts that we came in on?
We'll have to push it all the way back.
I can do that.
And then what? We carry it with us? I think we'll do alright with the bags here, and we can leave whatever's left for the rest of the dwarves. But I did cast detect magic.
Yeah. So you see actually there's more magic glowing from the crates on the side here than there is from in the pile. I
go to the crates, and as I walk that way I say, focus on the platinum if you can, as he's seeing Kellisto fervently shoveling stuff.
I'm pretty sure I'd be picking out like the most expensive pieces, and then we go for the gold. Like I have this pile of items next to my leg.
And Ulfgar would call Tobias and Arokh over and ask them for help in opening the crates.
Just a moment. Tobias is going to do maybe very odd thing for everyone else. He's going to take he's going to chip the horns from the dragon.
Okay. Tobias is busy. Please come back later. So
he's going to take out 2 horns.
Okay.
If she have more than 2.
No, she has these two great sweeping horns that kind of go, sweep backwards from her head. So you could certainly kind of try and remove those. It is going to take you a while, but yeah, you could definitely do that. Really? It doesn't show it very well on the drawing. That's a shame. Yeah, you can kind of see them a little bit, like they go back from the front of her head, like arch back towards her kind of back and wings.
Okay.
I'm assuming the Valkyrie aura is gone at this point, so I'm going to remove that.
Okay,
Yep.
and then I'm going to proceed to the crate.
Okay. Similarly, this magma thingy is not there anymore either.
Yeah, I just feel Ulfgar. Do we need to leave some room in the bag for things, for items?
Let you know in a minute.
Okay, so in the crates, you find all manner of dwarven-made weapons and armor. Particularly, if you're focusing on magical things,
I am.
You find a battle axe is glowing.
Mm-hmm.
And you find a helm that glows.
Okay.
A warhammer as well that glows.
Okay.
And that's it for the glowy things.
Okay. And for the non-glowy things, anything that looks particularly nice?
You see there's a mithril breastplate.
Ooh.
But the rest of it looks, it's very well made, obviously, it's dwarf made, but but it doesn't look, nothing else particularly catches your eye.
He takes out the mithril breastplate and says, "Tobias, this might come in handy for you." He pulls it out and says, "Mithril. It's especially light." He kind of holds it up to him. I think we could make that fit.
What are we making fit? I'm back, but
A piece of mithril breastplate.
Breastplate. What I wonder, what about those? That scale?
Well, I guess we'll figure it out now, won't we?
Yeah, I don't want to.
Do we see the items that they're picking?
Yeah.
I don't want to.
I mean, it's currently Ulfgar's got a battle axe in one hand, a warhammer in the other, and he's got like this helm on his helm.
I point to that warhammer. I'm like, can I have that?
He says, "I don't see why not, but if you don't mind, I'd like to check it out a little further just to make sure it's not going to explode on use."
I mean, there's a dead carcass here.
He says, "I meant on the user." He says, give me like a half an hour. I can study these up and maybe I can figure them out a little bit better while you guys continue loading."
So at some point, you see, well, Gao is kind of sneaks back into the room and is just peering.
There he is, get him! No, I'm kidding. Who would notice that he peeked back in?
Probably Aelia. He's probably gonna stay a bit stealthy.
Aelia shouts up at Gao and she says, "Gao, come down here and join. I think this is proof that I am your rightful queen."
So he's gonna do that in just a sec. Then in the pile of gold, the other stuff that you find a gold embroidered scabbard, a dragon shaped medal and chain, which is gold as well,
Oops. Like metal, like in something you wear around your neck?
Yeah, kind of like
dragon-shaped metal and chain?
Okay. A copper mug with jade inlay.
Okay.
A silver elven-made circlet that also has a green gem inlaid in the front.
None of these things are magical, right?
The circlet is.
Oh.
Any kind of jewelry looking stuff, I just start putting it on my body. Like when we find it, I'm just putting it on. So it's all on me.
Well, Kellisto, you're there as well, right? So
yep.
Yeah. I just hand the circlet to Kellisto. I'm like, here. That'll be nice on your head. I take that mask off too. I'm just like, here, a stupid mask and
I start laughing. I'm like, thanks for sharing.
Kellisto, when you look at this circlet, actually, you find the gem particularly intriguing. The green of it kind of twinkles and reminds you of where you grew up for some reason.
Do I recognize it? Like, has it got M symbols on it?
You don't recognize it. It just the green of it reminds you of like laying in the grass and looking up at the trees.
I feel comforted since now I'm in like basically hell for me, like a cave.
Okay.
Can't see the sky.
You also in that pile you find 3 potions of greater healing.
Woohoo!
Okay.
Are you writing all this down?
Yep.
I hope somebody is.
Because these are things that I'm like I have a hold of, and like I'm gonna walk out of here looking like Mr. T.
So was it just the circlet that was magical in all those items you were describing?
The copper mug is as well.
Okay. So Ulfgar would comment that the copper mug and the circlet were magical as well, and perhaps he could get a better bead on what these things are. And he'd like to encourage Tobias, another arcane user, to perhaps help him so that the two of them might be able to discern some sort of semblance of what these things might do via the use of detect magic and any arcane knowledge they might have.
The one thing... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, do you need to have it in hand?
I would say probably, but he'd give it back. It's not a problem.
And I would say, I'd hand it to you, and I'd say, I want this back.
Says, not a problem. We'll start with that. Okay. Meanwhile, he looks silly wearing a helm on his helm.
A helm on his helm. Yes, you do look very silly. You do notice, Ulfgar, if you're looking at the magical items that you've picked up, the battle axe has some dwarvish runes etched into the haft of it.
Can I read them?
Yep, they spell Bob.
Bob?
Bob.
He says, Bob's your uncle, and he just kind of puts that on his back for now. Always wanted to say that.
Okay.
And then he's like, oh, wait, no one else knows what I'm talking about. And he just goes back to studying the circle.
So, Aelia, Gao comes down, kind of scrambles down the ledge, landing with a tumble, but somehow, rolling out of it seemingly unharmed, and makes his way over to you while you're kind of sitting, like, slowly kind of skinning this dragon. And it's just like, his eyes are like saucers. He cannot believe what he's seeing, and he is completely speechless. And he's just kind of like looking from Tinder to you and back again, and he stands there for quite a few minutes doing this, looking at both of you. And and then after a while, he pulls out a dagger, which he didn't have when he left you, by the way. Pulls out a dagger and starts trying to help you.
Great.
Skin tinder.
Aelia will allow it. She's also gonna like shout back to the crew who are pouring through this mound and say, "Give this little guy some treasure."
I just pick up a bunch of it and walk over and put it, just like dump it over his head. Here
He I mean, so Gao is I mean, when you think about like Dobby from Harry Potter, you know how like Dobby was clothed. This is kind of how Gao is clothed. You know, he's got like his slingshot round a little like piece of kind of rope that's tied around his waist. Not particularly well armored or anything. So so he starts trying to like out of the stuff that falls on his head, like some of it gets caught like in his clothing and stuff, and so he takes those bits and like tucks them away like into his clothing. Apparently he has some little secret pockets squirreled away.
So cute.
And then he kind of so you see Aelia, he's helping you, right? But he's also kind of like, because you're standing on the pile of coin as well. He's helping you, but he's also kind of like just occasionally like reaches down and tucks them up. And he's just grabbing a coin here and there and just tucking it away.
Aelia doesn't have much of a sense of like she's almost the opposite of Valia in that way. She, because of her nomadic community, she doesn't really have a sense of personal ownership outside of the things that she's literally wearing. So she just doesn't mind what Gao is doing. I don't know whether the others would react, but
I don't think many of us really mind.
Yeah, no.
There's so much there.
And he does whisper to you, Aelia, he says, the others. He says, I don't know that they believe this.
How they can believe what they want, Gao. Once they see you, we're going to make you princely, my friend.
And he stands up very proud. Like shoots kind of his nose into the air. Prince Gao. And then
Aelia claps.
So it's yeah, I think it's probably gonna skinning the dragon might take longer than filling the bag with coin.
Yeah, after we're done, I'll go over and start helping them. That way, I have skinning and leatherworking issue stuff. I can do that. I'm gonna take one of the claws of the dragon and rip it off, and I'm gonna try to. It's gonna take me a little bit, but I'm gonna bore a hole through it, put a leather string, and I'll give it to the little guy, and be like, "Here, now they can believe you." Put it around his neck.
Just drops him to the floor.
It's as big as he is. I'm like, do you want a tooth too? Because I can get you that.
He's like, no. He's like kind of holding on to this claw a little bit because it's quite heavy.
Arokh's just watching you both with judgmental silence.
I'm just gonna walk over to Ulfgar and I'm gonna bare my teeth with all the gross blood and like, can you do that thing and get rid?
You would like me to brush your teeth?
Yeah, And when you clean stuff off, like this, it was just like making this weird motion with my.
You can see that he's in the middle of like working on trying to figure out what these magical items do with Tobias, and he's like, "I'll cover you when we're done here."
I'm like, fine, don't blame me when all this gold's bloody.
Yeah, I've made an Arcana check, so do I have any idea what kind of magical items there are?
Do you want me to do an Arcana as well, or do you want to just do something? I don't know. I'm sure his Arcana is better than mine. But I'm feeding him what information I can pull from using the detect magic spell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, what I'll do is I'll probably DM, or well, maybe I'll just put it in Discord chat, the details of what you find regarding each item, because I am thinking that actually, well, aside from like identifying the item, finishing up skinning the dragon, as much as you can. What are you going to do with the dragon hide, by the way, once you've...
Do you want to know my future plan?
More like, how are you going to haul it around?
I think the easiest way would be to fold it up and drape it over my back.
Okay.
Because I don't think we're going to get away with all of it, are we?
No. No, the bag of holding, just to meta it a little bit, it will only hold 500 pounds, right? So at some point, and there's thousands and thousands of copper pieces here.
Right.
So you're not gonna be able to take it all. And this is kind of why I want to work on that a little separately, so I can figure out a good number for you to fit in that bag of holding, that good number of the coin that you'd be able to fit in there.
But we're not going to get away with an elephant bull's worth of dragon hide.
Well, I mean, it depends how much you're willing to carry, I guess.
As much as, well, Aelia would try and take as much as possible. She's not really interested in the coin or the jewelry.
Okay.
Yeah, I would definitely make room in the bag for like scales and, you know, I would basically pick out like the higher, more expensive. I guess we can discuss this in Discord stuff later, what we took. And I still have the jewelry and crap on that I find. Right? Putting chains on and rings if I find them.
Aelia would actually, speaking of jewelry, because she does like jewelry, she would probably, between things, try and find like a bracelet or something.
There's a dragon-shaped medal and chain.
Yeah, I just
she's not really a neck person. She's more of a bracelet.
Yeah, I like hold out my arms and everything. I'm like, look at all this stuff I found. Like any jewelry I have it on, and I'm like, you want something?
She picks out something reasonably jangly.
Okay.
A bangle.
So once you're done kind of collecting and divvying up and harvesting the loot, Aelia, you've got like two big rolls of dragon hide kind of tied up to your saddle bags, right? Because I think you mentioned you have some saddle bags.
Yeah.
So you've got two big rolls of dragon hide tied up to that, and you feel kind of you've been through everything and come up with efficient ways to make the most out of this treasure hoard. What do you guys want to do next?
Ulfgar would have one suggestion. Is there a way you can make sure this thing doesn't come back?
I don't know any burial rites for a dragon. I've never had the privilege of seeing the divine dragons. And the evil dragons, the red dragons we managed to take down, we burned. But their flesh burns fine once their skin is removed.
Well, I'd imagine removing its head from the rest of it might also be a good idea. He pulls out the regular battle axe that he took from the dwarven hold.
Aelia puts a hand up and says, "There's plenty of undead without heads."
Fair enough. And he looks over at Gao and says, "Gao, do you know where this goes?" And he points over at this area here.
Oh, hang on. Right.
Basically behind where the dragon was.
Gao shrugs. That goes nowhere.
Okay.
He says, the only way out is up the tracks through my family.
Tobias is going to take a peek inside.
Yep. Gao was being completely honest.
It's a dragon toilet.
A foul smell hits you.
Never mind.
Right. Speaking of your friends there, Cow, what do you think that they'd be likely to cooperate with the dwarves that have retaken the forge upstairs?
He says, dwarves and kobolds are not friends.
I realize this. We're talking though, aren't we?
Could they be friends, Gao?
He says, as long as the dwarves stay in the forge, we could be friends.
Well, they'll likely be coming down into the mines. That was the purpose of us coming down here. There'll be plenty more after we're gone.
He says,
How much of your family is left, Gao?
Well, he starts rattling off kobold names. And he goes through like his first layer of cousins, and then and you get the feeling that there's probably like a couple of dozen left.
Donner and Blitzen. Rudolph and Ulfgar says, well, I'll tell you what. We won't come for your folk if you move on. Unless you think that you'll be able to convince the rest of them to cooperate with the dwarves that are here. Imagine they could use some people to work with here, but I don't think they'll take too kindly to you if you put up some kind of resistance. I mean, they've got the forge upstairs and the mines down here.
He says, he points to the pile of coin. Says, you could probably pay them to leave.
He says, I doubt that'd be enough.
He was talking about.
I think Gao meant his family.
Oh. Because Ulfgar's like, yeah, dwarves, yeah. Here, let me pay you to leave your mines.
Yeah.
He's like,
he says, now that Tinder is dead, they don't need to stay as much.
Well then, why don't you deliver a message to the rest of your people there that exactly that, whatever they can make off with here, then they best be on their way before the rest of the dwarves start moving back into the mines.
Do you want me to come with you?
He says, no need. He calls over his shoulder in Draconic, and scurrying out from behind the corner come this little party of here, actually, I'll just do this. Boop. Of some of his family kind of come scurrying out, and they hiss at you quite a bit. Some of them are coming in this way, but they do start kind of they've got some kind of basic vessels that they start scooping coin into.
Okay.
And yeah, anybody who speaks Draconic can hear that there's insults being thrown around about your party, regardless of whether you killed Tinder or not. They still are not, going to be friends.
Are they? Well, I can't tell, but can one of the Draconic speakers tell whether they're making fun of Gao or not?
I will tell them in Draconic, and point to him and be like, "That's now your king and your ruler. He helped slay this dragon, so respect him, or I'll eat you all."
They kind of look at you, eyes narrowed a little bit.
I just smile with still the blood and stuff hanging out of my mouth.
As she's doing that, Ulfgar starts cleaning her teeth.
They look completely perplexed by this activity.
He's like, "Hold still, stop making a fuss now."
It's like, "Great timing, Ulfgar, thank you."
Oh, you're welcome. Always happy to help.
They don't talk to you directly at all. Yeah. They continue about their business and saying like stupid dwarf helping Lizardfolk, blah blah blah. And there's all this muttering going on about how your party might be powerful, but you're clearly not smart. Don't know what you're doing here. And
Ulfgar would actually
we're definitely dummy.
He'd walk over to Gao and kind of lean down and talk to him really quietly in the ear and say, "Gao, do you think that you'd be safe going back with your people, or do you think you're at risk?"
Sorry.
It's Ulfgar, he does this.
Do I want to handle another? Gao kind of looks at you quizzically. He's not he's not sure what you mean by. He doesn't understand your question.
Do you think that the rest of these folk here will attack you? Hurt you?
He picks up his dwarf claw and his tiny little hand, looking at it and looking at the others, thinking about the coin that he's got in his pocket and thinking, and he says, no, my chief is still my chief, no matter if I have a dragon claw or not.
All right. Well, we'll leave you to your folk then. Thank you for helping us. And he kind of sets down one of the magical battle axe, because he's still got the magic battle axe, magic warhammer, helm on helm. He sets down one of them, and he reaches his hand out in what he hopes he understands is like a gesture of friendship.
Yeah, again looks at you quizzically, doesn't.
He says it's just a gesture of well-being.
Aelia actually takes one of Gao's paws and puts it in Ulfgar.
And he just gives it one shake, and then picks up the weapon and says, "Shall we head back then?"
It looks like. Sorry.
Want to try that again?
It looks like we have completed our task.
I feel about the same.
It's a shame that it came out this way.
I
agree. And Ulfgar doesn't really look that bothered.
Revenge for the dwarves!
More or less. It'll be a long trip back. Should we perhaps rest up before we go? They're not expecting us for a few days, perhaps.
Yeah, but let's go somewhere else.
Aelia looks to Gao and says, I have one last task for you before we let you decide your fate. I need you to come back with us to the...
He says,
Aelia
okay.
reassures Ulfgar, by the way. She turns to Ulfgar and just puts a hand out, palm facing Ulfgar, and says, don't worry. I know.
Alright, I'll trust you know what you're doing. I know the Sithies have one mind, though.
Gav says, okay, I come with you. Your Majesty.
Alright, Aelia then says, I don't think we should rest. I think we should rest back at the...
Alright, it's a long hike, let's get going. Start trotting on.
Okay. When Gao says Your Majesty, by the way, some of the kobolds kind of look at him and laugh a little bit. But yeah, he trots along kind of merrily with the rest of you. And I think we will save their journey back for next time.
Alright.
Fair enough.
Give me a chance to get XP to everybody and the details of your loot and see what is in store for you now you're walking through the tunnel instead of speeding your way on a minecart. Tinder's bigger brother.
Alright. Well, hey.
I'm not really worried about what we come across if we could take down Dragon as easily as that. I'm very surprised.
Hey,
well,
your overconfidence is your weakness.
Yeah. Darkest Dungeon. Overconfidence is a slow and insidious.
Yeah. That's okay.
Alright.
Okay.
So if that's it,
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Players and viewers alike. And tune in next time when we find out if we can actually get back to the surface or if we're doomed to be trapped in the Underearth. So, yeah, that's it. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye.